I'm joining us right now to talk about this and much more, everything that's here happening in the Alps, is Peter Orszag. He is the CEO of Lazard. He's also, of course, the former OMB director under President Obama. And Peter, it's great to see you here today.
Good to be with you.
So where do we start with everything that's happening here? We're remarking on, out of all the years of Davos, this feels like the time when maybe more eyes in the world are on this space because of what's happening, because of who is here, who's arriving here right now. What do you think? Because you've been coming here a very long time.
I think there are some really big ideas and big issues here. For example, Mark Carney's proposal, basically, that the Trans-Pacific Partnership should join forces with the European Union, that's a huge idea. And that would transform the world trading system in a way that, you know, many other things wouldn't do. So there's
How does it work?
They join together. Basically what's happening is the world is moving into two poles, the crinks, China, Russia, Iran, North Korea, and then the United States. This would effectively form a third pillar, and they would invite either the United States or China to join. It fundamentally changes the dynamics.
Fundamentally changes the dynamics, but it doesn't seem like it necessarily would lead to improved ties with the U.S. This is a way of kind of pushing back and saying, no, we're not going to be bullied into anything.
There's a lot of talk of taking the world as it is, not as you want it to be here. And I think this is one of many steps the Europeans could take to take the world as it is and try to do something about it.
And what do you think it means long term? I mean, we were talking earlier, by the way, you know, China effectively could start partnering with our closest neighbor, Canada. That's a remarkable idea, to be on your doorstep this way.
I think
at the same time that we're trying to take Greenland because we think that is going to help us protect ourselves against China, for example.
I think the two fundamental issues, and they're at the heart of a lot of the discussions here, are the evolution on AI and then this evolution in terms of the two poles of the global economy. And to your point, what the United States does not want is to allow the China pole to win.
How does this play out in business with all of the CEOs that you're dealing with, the companies you work with?
I think that to some degree there's uncertainty will be high and we just need to proceed regardless. That having been said, it's not helpful when there's, you know, much more noise and much more distraction. So a lot of the discussion is a little distracted right now.
Are you seen as a global company or a U.S. company? Does that help? Does that hurt?
Yes.
All of the above?
All of the above. One of the great things about Lazard is I think we're seen as a French company in France and a British company in the UK and an American company in the US.
There is some speculation here, I don't know if you've seen this or heard this, but that all of the, I don't know if we're calling it noise or not, around Greenland or some of the other things, is almost a distraction for something that could happen between the United States and Iran.
I think it's very likely that over the next few days there will be something that happens in Iran. And
you
it
do?
might be something big, yes.
Why do you think that?
I did, well, from a variety of different, indirect information, and also, to your point, I think it's entirely possible the United States was waiting for the carriers to arrive.
Was waiting for them, I'm sorry.
For the carriers to arrive.
And that this is just, so that the Greenland story is just a head fake?
I don't know about a head fake, but it has the effect of, it has that effect even if that's not the intent.
And that would mean what? How does that play out if that's actually the case?
Then the big question becomes, can you actually do regime change through effectively a bombing campaign? And I don't think we have any history in which that's effective, but we'll see. It depends what the objective of what happens is. If it's to take out the ballistic missiles, that can be successful. If it's regime change, you know, that's got a more checkered history.
What do you want to hear from the president when he
We know a guy who's going to talk to him, too.
Yeah, just a little bit from now. Joe's going to be sitting down talking to him afterwards, but what do you want to hear? What do other global leaders want
Well, I
to
think
hear?
part of this is going to be a review of the domestic situation in the United States.
Oh, it will.
Right. So
He's
I
already
think
said that's what he
said that. So I think, you know, that'll be the heart of it. But inevitably, I'm sure it will also address some of these global questions.
Peter, by the way, there's the president stepping off of what was considered Air Force One, the chopper
well,
that is Marine One, I should say, headed to the motorcade that's going to bring him to the Congress Center, where he is expected to be speaking in about 25 minutes from now.
I rode in the Beast. I think it was 2000. Last time I was here.
It's the way to travel, right?
Yeah, it is a beast. Coming back from the interview. That last interview was surreal. It was just before the pandemic, Peter, and that was, Becky's brought it up. That was my first question. There was a case of some nondescript Wuhan type bug in I think it was in Washington
Seattle,
State.
right?
Yeah. And
you're right, Washington State. Maybe not
in Washington
necessarily
State.
Seattle.
Peter, just help us with this. There's like a split screen situation. You got the protesters behind us, and you can hear them, and they're audible. You have the president of the United States, the most powerful.
That's defending Kurdistan.
But you have the most powerful person,
Don't
in the world making.
You told me it was no
from,
kings. It's Kurdistan.
From Marine One, you have the no kings behind us here.
Okay, someone.
You have David Sachs telling us that economic story is awesome. What is it?
He said Democrats are going to Democrat, Peter, so take it away.
No, look, I think the U.S. economy has performed pretty well. I'm actually constructive on the economy for 2026. But it's the U.S. economy at this point is effectively two things, AI and high-income consumers. And outside of that, it's...
Wages are growing across the board, finally.
But by the way, that's also a risk. I think inflation is going to surprise to the upside this year. Adam Posen of the Peterson Institute and I actually put out a piece suggesting it might hit 4%. One reason is wage pressure. Another reason is most of the pass-through from the tariffs has not actually occurred yet. Mm-hmm. And another reason is the fiscal deficit may be more elevated than people think.
That's an interesting point with the most of the tariffs not coming passed through yet. Right. Andy Jassy told us yesterday that, look, they were able to do all of these things ahead of time, like buy in advance, bring everything in, all of the ways that you can kind of trick tariffs. Those measures have kind of run out. Right. And now it's more of a situation where you're doing the best you can. You're trying to keep your margins in those positions, but you are going to likely get hit with higher costs.
And this settled in around 15%. It's not 40 or 50.
Right. Yeah, but this effect could be another 50 or 70 basis points on inflation.
But here's the thing.